Welcome to Tech with Sunny, where we learn cool tech stuff, clear doubts, and occasionally roast bad code. Today, we're talking about two Python web frameworks that are constantly fighting for the AI throne, Flask versus FastAPI. It's like an MMA match, but with more brackets and less broken bones. Which one is faster? Which one is easier? And most importantly, which one won't make you cry at 2 a.m. debugging? Stick around, because by the end, you'll know exactly which one to pick for your AI projects. Let's roll. Alright, let's talk about the first big difference, performance and speed. Imagine this, you're late for work. Flask is like taking a comfy old bicycle, reliable but kinda slow. Meanwhile, FastAPI is like hopping on a high-speed sports bike, async powered and blazing fast. Now, let me know in the comments, are you Team Flask or Team FastAPI so far? Why? Because Flask is synchronous by default, meaning it processes one request at a time, like a waiter taking orders one by one. Meanwhile, FastAPI is asynchronous out of the box, allowing it to handle multiple requests at once, like a self-service buffet where everyone helps themselves. And here's the real kicker. FastAPI is up to 3 to 5 times faster than Flask, thanks to Starlet and Pydantic. That makes it perfect for AI applications that need real-time responses, streaming, or high concurrency processing. But hey, Flask isn't out of the race yet. For smaller apps, simplicity often beats raw speed. So Flask fans, don't rage quit just yet. We've got more coming. Alright, moving on to the second big difference, data validation and type safety. This is where things get really interesting, especially if you're working with AI applications that require structured and reliable data. Let's face it, handling messy data is every developer's worst nightmare. Imagine you're running a food delivery app, and suddenly an order comes in where the price is banana instead of a number. In Flask, you'll have to manually check for these issues using custom validation logic, which can get messy and repetitive pretty quickly. But here's where FastAPI shines. It natively supports data validation using Pydantic, which means you can define data models with strict type enforcement. FastAPI automatically checks if an incoming request follows the expected structure. No more random strings where numbers should be. Let's say you're building an AI-powered recommendation system. With Flask, you'd have to write extra logic to ensure every request contains valid user data. But in FastAPI, you just define a model like this. Python from import base model class user request base model, name steer age int email steer. Now if someone sends a request with an invalid email or a missing age, FastAPI automatically rejects it with a clear error message, saving you time and headaches. Flask, on the other hand, doesn't have built-in validation like this. You'd have to use external libraries like Marshmallow or manually check request data. It works, but it's extra effort. So if you're building AI applications where data consistency is critical, for example, in machine learning pipelines or API requests processing large data sets, FastAPI gives you stronger safeguards right out of the box. Flask? It leaves that responsibility to you. Which one do you prefer for handling data? Flask's flexibility or FastAPI's built-in validation? Let me know in the comments. Alright, we've seen where FastAPI shines, but let's not count Flask out just yet. When it comes to simplicity and ease of learning, Flask still holds the upper hand. Imagine you're just getting started with web development or need to build a quick API. With Flask, you can have a fully functional API in just a few lines of code. No deep knowledge of async, Pydantic, or complex configurations required. Flask is also more beginner-friendly. If you're stepping into web development, Flask's lightweight nature makes it easier to grasp compared to FastAPI's additional layers of complexity. You don't need to worry about type hints, strict validation, or async operations. Just write your routes, and you're good to go. FastAPI, while still simple, introduces more advanced concepts like data models and asynchronous handling. It's fantastic for large-scale applications, but for quick prototypes, Flask wins in terms of ease of use. So, if you need something quick and simple, like a proof of concept, a lightweight API, or a small web app, Flask still holds the crown. But if you're scaling up, well, we know who takes the lead. What do you think? Do you prefer Flask's simplicity or FastAPI's advanced features? Drop a comment and let's discuss. All right, folks. Here's another difference for you. FastAPI versus Flask. But instead of just boring tech jargon, let's make this fun. Imagine you're at a fast food restaurant. Flask is the old school diner where there's one chef. He takes one order at a time, cooks it, serves it, then moves to the next customer. The line keeps getting longer and longer and longer. FastAPI is the new age drive-through, with multiple chefs working at once. While one chef is flipping a burger, another is frying the fries, and another is making a shake. Everything happens at the same time. So what happens? The people in line have to wait patiently because only one request is processed at a time. FastAPI. Requests are handled concurrently, so more customers get their food faster. Tech translation. Flask uses synchronous functions, meaning it handles one request at a time. FastAPI uses async await, meaning it can process multiple requests without waiting. Wrap up. So, if you're building a high-speed, data-intensive API, FastAPI is your pit stop champion. But if you're just running a small, simple app, Flask is still a solid choice. Which one do you prefer? Drop a comment below. All right, we've tried our best to explain Flask versus FastAPI using real-life examples so you can grasp the key differences easily. But if you want to go deeper into actual coding, implementation, and hands-on demos, let us know in the comments. Whatever the majority of comments say, we'll try to make the next videos based on that. So if you're interested in step-by-step coding tutorials, project builds, or even performance benchmarks, drop a comment below. And while you're at it, tell us what other topics you'd love to see next. Maybe a comparison of Django versus FastAPI, a deep dive into REST versus GraphQL, or something else entirely. Your suggestions shape the content we bring to you. So, let's hear it. Comment your thoughts below and help us decide the next video. And of course, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Tech with Sunny for more awesome tech content. See you in the next one.